Hello and welcome to another episode of Coloring with Lisa, my extreme coloring method. I wanted to show you my newest picture that I just completed here. This is the Treehouse from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly coloring book. It's by Johanna Basford. And it's really cool. It's got a lot of colors in there. You can learn how to make the trees. You know, there's a lot of trees in a bunch of coloring books, you know. So this one will teach you different color combinations for the tree, and I'll show you how to do it here in a minute. And then there's you know, the house. There's a lot of good colors here that you can use. There's a lot of coloring books the same, like Romantic Country and Our Little Town and things like that, that have houses and buildings in them, and they're really fun to color. You can get the windows, you know, to look like they're lighting up, you know, like that and stuff. So these color combinations will teach you a lot of good colors. And I did different kinds of leaves so that you could practice doing different kinds. Like this one here is using a Prussian green, and this one's using some blue in the flower, and then this one here is using some overlays. So what that means is, like, if you put a purple and a pink and you put yellow on top of it, it's going to turn it into kind of like an orangey color. So I'll show you that. So here is the color sheet that you're going to get here. With it, you're going to get the original, and you're going to get the color combinations as usual. If you've been following me, then you know I make the color combinations. So, like, there's one right there. Now, when you are doing these color by numbers projects, you need to be aware of a couple things. Okay, so this here is the blueprint for this picture. Okay, so I wanted to show you a couple things here. So when you're using this, when you see here, for example, this tree, right, you'll see that it's combination number 7. So what you do is you just follow along with your book here, and you'll see, okay, here's your color combination for that, for the tree. So you would put these in the order that I have them listed here, okay? And I do the same with all the color combinations. So that's the main thing, and it's so easy to do. So you just follow along. The color combinations are going to the respective spot. So if it says 7, you put in the combinations for 7, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of this tree here. So let's come out just a little bit here, and let's do a little bit of this tree. And I'll give you a little pointer, okay? So hold on, let me get my pencils. Okay, so we're going to start here with number 7, and that's the combination for the tree. All right, so this here is, and if you don't want to buy this, that's okay. I mean, this, if you want to just know how to make a tree, I will show you. My color by number kits are $5, and that helps support me so that I can continue making these for you. And they're good to collect, because if you collect all these, you can keep them in a 3-ring binder and you know, have them handy whenever you're coloring something. So all right, so this here is saying using goldenrod, burnt ochre, chocolate, and to shade with black. All right, so I'm going to show you here how I do that. All right, so the first thing that you do is you're just going to take your this is the goldenrod. And you can see I'm just laying down the color. And when you're doing a tree, you want to do kind of make some spots lighter, some spots darker. So I'm just filling it in using little circles because I want it to have a little bit of a texture. I just don't want to put in straight lines because that wouldn't look good, you know, with the directions. You know, you don't, like if you're doing a flower, you kind of want those directional lines. But when you're doing a tree like this, you want to keep it so that it has a little bit of texture. So see how I'm doing that? And also I'm not coloring on my little pad because I want that texture to show up underneath. Normally I color on a little like a really soft like a padded coloring mat, but in this case, if I use the bottom of the table, you can see that it leaves a little slight texture on the bottom, which is kind of great when you're doing a tree, especially. So it gives, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm relaying it right, but I think you know what I mean. it's picking up the little bumps that are underneath on the table and adding it here. So it gives it a really cool texture. That's a really great technique to know. So just take note of that, okay? And please give me a like. Please, I need as many likes as I could get. And I need the watch hours. And then pretty soon I'll be able to get a plaque and some sponsors. So I'm really trying for that. All right, so then we're going to put burnt ochre next. And what I want to do is I'm going to start again with the same technique, but I want it darker on the sides, and then I'm just bringing the color out a little bit where I want it to have a little bit of shade. Okay, so I'm pushing harder when it's down here, and then lighter as it gets up closer, so I could feather in the shading. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of fading the shading in like that, and then I want it darker in here. So I'm just coming around like so. Okay, it's really fun to do this too. So relaxing. Okay, so then in here would be darker. All right. Okay, then I'm going to add this next one, which is the chocolate, and do the same thing. Just layer on top of it. And you know, when something is shaded, it's going to be darker where all the things are gathering together, and then just bring it a little lighter, you know. And then under here would be darker because there's a little lip there. So, and when you're shading, you just keep that kind of stuff in mind, and it makes your picture interesting. And when it's a corner like that, you make it darker and then bring it out so that the shading is, you know, having an effect from going from the corner out. See how nice that looks? All right, and then if you want to do it over here too, maybe a little bit underneath here, because it's the same thing. It's kind of going underneath, so you want to add the shade, all right, with the color. See, and I'm just bringing it out. Okay. Now, the other thing too is when you're doing shading, I put down on a lot of these color combinations to shade with the black. So when you see shading, and you're going to be able to look at my original for the reference, you can see where I did mine. But remember, when you print the pages out, they don't look the same because your printer might not be printing accurately. So the best thing to do to practice is to make a little practice page, and then take your color chart and use your own pencils and practice on the little circles with your color, and then you can keep that for your reference, because that's going to be your closest match, you know, because those are your exact color, those are your exact pencils, and they're, you know, true. You got your name and you got your pencil number down of the color. So the best thing to do is to take the little circles and fill them all in the way I did, you know. But so I use the black for the shading, and now you can put as much black as you want, as little, and the same with the any, you know, obviously any of the colors. And if you think it's got too much, you could just, you know, bring that in, or you can even do my famous technique is bring out your handy dandy eraser, and then what you can do is you can really blend it in by putting it in first on one coat, then erasing it. Right, now you've got a nice little undercoat underneath, and then you can put a whole nother layering on top of that. So there's so many different ways to do this, but I just wanted to show you kind of a couple of more advanced techniques. And then I would take and I would put this back in. And that gives you like an undertone. You can also do that by putting a solid gray underneath your picture and then erasing it. And then that would give it an undertone. You can do the same thing with the black, or you could do it a blue. But that creates really neat under effects. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Maybe I should, teach you about some effects on putting undertones underneath and then erasing it. I don't think anybody does those. I should show you. I think I will. All right, so here, how I'm putting the colors back in, right? See? Now it just gives, and when you do that erasing technique, it really gives a nice transition, of course, because you've already laid down a layer. So now you're just lightly going over the other layer, you know, the new one here now, to make it a little bit more darker, but you're getting the idea, right? See? So this is a nice advanced technique for you to learn. Okay, and then you put your black in again. So if you don't want it so harsh, you can just tone it down a little and add the shading as desired. And also, if you don't like black, you can use a darker brown, but this is pretty much, I mean, you can use a darker gray too, but I liked it with the black because I like the extreme look of the way that shading is so drastic, you know. That was just the look I was after, but so depending on the look that you want. But if you're coloring by numbers and you really want to learn different techniques, it's good to practice like that. So see how I just added all that back in, and it just made a really nice shade. So that is how you follow along, and all these techniques that I use on this particular picture is done the same way. Okay, so I just used my Prismacolor pencils for this, and on this one, you probably pretty much need the whole 150 set. Actually, you know, you should get that for any of these, because, you know, I use all the pencils pretty much that are in there, including the grays and stuff, so it's worth it. I think right now, I put a link for it down below, but I think you can get the whole set of 150 of them right now for $80. It's on sale. So you might want to click on that link and get those pencils. Okay, so anyways, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to finish this, and everything that you need in the kit to make it look just like this will be in the in my download. Also, I have a brand new website, and my website is called coloringbynumbers.org, and I'll put a link for that, and be sure you come on my Facebook page and post your pictures and stuff too. Okay, thank you very much, and have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.